What is up, guys? Digital VFX here once again, and today I have a tutorial on how to make a deep house track. And as you can see, I already have some patterns here laid out, and that's because I recorded a half-hour tutorial that ended up being deleted by my computer, unfortunately, because there was an update that I think I have it set to automatic updates, and in the process of rendering it, which took over an hour, somewhere in that time while it was rendering, because I wasn't sitting at my computer at the time, my computer did an auto restart because an update had finished, and so unfortunately I lost all of that, which kind of upset me. But I still have the project here that I worked on for that half hour. And so instead of kind of having a tutorial where I'm going to make it from scratch and explain what I'm doing along the way, I have essentially the finished product of the first part of this tutorial series, and I'm just going to explain what I did in depth in all these layers. And yeah, we'll go from there. And then each part after this video will kind of be a continuation of this track. And so as you can tell from the title, this is going to be on Deep House. And so my last Deep House tutorial was mediocre, and I know that. And so I've always wanted to remake a new one since I uploaded that, and here we go. So here is what essentially I made in that 30-minute tutorial. I spent most of the time on the melody here, which I can solo it out. Actually, first I'm going to play everything together and then kind of break it down into each part. But you can tell that there's not much. I spent the majority of that part on the melody only and making that fit and EQing and everything, which I'll go over in this video. But as far as a kick and clap, it's just a kick on all fours and a clap on every other one on 2 and 4. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so that is the track that I made, or the loop I should say, and I'll break it down. So first I'm going to start with the kick just because it's on top here, and nothing special about this kick. It's just 4 on the floor, excuse me. I believe, yes, I did EQ this, but I just did not officially link it. So the only thing that I noticed about this kick was there was a resonant frequency around 142 hertz, looks like. And for those of you who don't know how to clean up your kicks, the main things that makes a lot of kicks and toms and certain VSTs really resonant and really muddy is because of the resonance. And that's just a certain frequency that rings around in your cabinet, and depending on the wavelength of that frequency, it just has some funky characteristics with the environment around it that doesn't make it sound good. And I guess that's the most black and white definition I can provide for someone who doesn't necessarily study music production. But as you can see, I have a very narrow notch filter at 142 hertz, looks like. And so if I raise this up, you can start to hear some of the resonance when I begin to play it. So if you have not speakers that color the sound, speakers that color the sound typically try to have filters that prevent resonance. But if you have nice monitors or monitoring headphones, you definitely can hear that ringing there, and it just sounds pretty bad. So you can tell how much cleaner that kick is by just removing that one frequency. And you don't necessarily need to... Oh, looks like my mouse just died. Alright, new battery in the mouse. So you don't necessarily need to remove 100% of this frequency. As you can see, sounds like it's removed all of the frequency right there, so it does need to be 100% down, and that will definitely clean up your kick. So now moving on to the melody. The melody is broken up of 4 different layers. And the first one, let me just play the first one. I don't know why that's like double playing, because I didn't tell it to do that. That sounds better. I don't know why it double hit the first time. But yeah, this is just a sample one shot that I really liked, and I thought it sounded kind of deep house-ish. And it's in the key of G, and the one thing you can do to that to help out when you're working with samples is by default over here on the instrument tab in the channel settings, you'll notice by default middle C starts off at C5 right here, and so even though the note is G, you'll have to press C5 in order to hear that note G. And a quick fix for that is just right click once above the note that you want to be your root note. So in this case I want it to be G4, and so every time I press G now, it plays that root note, which is the exact same note as the sample, and then every other note will be pitched accordingly. And so that will help you out with getting samples in key. Next layer. I still don't know why that like double hits, but I guess I'll live with it. So that's not a very bassy layer. I didn't look at the EQ for the first one, but here's the EQ for the first one. Actually, I actually don't know why it's not linked there. There we go. I guess for some reason that wasn't linked in there. But moving on to this third layer. So that's again not a very bassy layer. So those two go very well together in kind of providing that middle frequency area. And this this note kind of has that nice knock, that nice transient that gives it some kind of stab feel. And so the key to deep house and making a good lead is to layer a bunch of leads, and to make them fit together, it's kind of just like a puzzle with the frequencies, and you want to make sure there's certain areas in some that are not in others, and it will fit together a lot better. And for the fourth sound. At first I didn't really like this sound because the characteristic of this lead, what I like about it is its detunedness, and that's what I thought made it not fit. So, I mean, I suppose I could fix it by making these back in tune, but I really like how it gives it that kind of detuned characteristic that makes it sound out of key, but it's really technically still in key, just slightly out of key, but it still fits pretty nicely when layered. So there's the lead, and in regards to this loop, it's just a loop that I found in a sample pack. I'm probably not going to keep it. I just wanted to see what the lead sounded like with a little groove thing. So it sounds pretty good. So now for this part right here. All you have to do is, I got all four of these leads right here, and I pasted the first note on a second pattern. And so if you go through all these piano rolls, it's on the very first note if I play it. And then all you got to do is go over to your master, add an Edison on there, or any channel for that matter, and then go on input. I can clear that out, so new, arm it for recording, and then as soon as signal is inputted into Edison, then it will start recording. On play, in this case it will be the same because it'll be whenever you press play, but in the future the difference is this is whenever signal gets put into Edison, and on play is whenever you press play. And same for now and input. If you press now, then it'll start recording. Input is whenever, again, input is going in. But I don't need any of those except for on input. Whoops, forgot to record arm it. And so you got that one note. And now all you can do is chop off the end, delete, chop off a little more, and the beginning. Probably chop off even a little more of that transient. And now use this button second to the left right here, which is drag your copy, sample, selection, whatever is in this window. And you want to make sure you are on the playlist here. Go back over, open your Edison, and drag that sample. So only last step is to go in here to the channel settings and click on reverse, and then do whatever you see fit in regards to, you know, adjusting the in, the out of this sample, and adjust it to your liking. And then once it fits, you know, remove one note from the beginning of a verse or a little bass riff, and then just have that little stutter reverse effect. And that effect is used a lot in deep house, and I think it's a really cool effect and super easy to do if you do not know how to do that. So if you have a bunch of layers doing something similar, this is what I did when I was working on each of the layers. I threw an EQ on all of them, as you normally should on all of your tracks, but I kind of watched all four of them and fit them together, so some areas were cut out where others were boosted, and vice versa. Alright, so that's pretty much everything, and the only thing I have left to talk to is the melody itself. And in regards to deep house melodies, I have a tutorial on how to do EDM melodies, which is a very similar concept in regards to keeping it in key. But with deep house, normally they follow this kind of rhythmic value where it's like an eighth note separated by a 16th note, and so you get that, you know, that I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of swingy feel, but it's that dot 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 dot, and it's kind of like offbeat. Let me try to see if I can. I'm sure you get it, but something like that. And there's a deep house lead. Very basic one, a very bad one, but it's a deep house lead. But yeah, you play around with that, and I think this was a decent kind of makeup. I'm pretty disappointed that that tutorial got deleted because there's a lot of good information in there, but you know, it happens, and I hope this was kind of a good replacement. I know this was a lot better tutorial than my first one, but I don't like to do super long tutorials because I know you guys tend to either skip through and miss a lot of information, or just get bored altogether and you know, click back on the video and don't watch it all the way through. But point being, I'm trying to keep this a little bit shorter so all the information is there and you get the idea. But yeah, I will expand on this video. I will make more parts now that this song, I'm catching up with this tutorial. I felt like I didn't want to expand on this video and just start off from where I left off without explaining how I got there. And so it was a lot shorter than 30 minutes, so hopefully that will be a little bit better for you guys. But if this helped, just remember to comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up. All the support means a lot. And this has been a Digital VFX production. Thanks for watching.
Meanwhile.